Everyone, I'm Megan Cullip, along here with Scott Michlin.
Good morning, Megan Cullip. How are you?
Good. I'm well. How are you?
Are you? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm excited about today's interview.
Are you? Me too.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept.
It's a very cool concept.
And a cool solution, because that's the name of the show.
Solutions from the Street.
That's right. So here we are. It is Solutions from the Street when we talk about a local, kind of community-based solution to a local problem. And so that is the focus of the show today. And this week we're talking with
Guardian Initiative, our two fellows from Guardian Initiative.
Right.
The fellows.
We got the majority of the team here with us.
We do.
Exactly. And so the problem, though, is our emergency services workers, right?
Well, raising awareness for the mental health of our emergency service workers.
Yeah, they're not a problem.
They're
workers
not
aren't
a problem. They're great.
You're right. But helping them with their mental health is a great solution to the problem that they encounter with their jobs.
Right.
And so that's a long way to get around to that reason, but that's where we are. So and let's introduce our guests who are here with us this morning. As you mentioned, the majority of the team, right? Majority of the team from Guardian Initiatives are here. We have two of the three. Mark and Jared are here. Good morning, gentlemen. Good to have you. Welcome back.
Morning. Thanks for having us.
To KSJE. I'm going to get you on the camera here, everyone. There's Mark. Good morning. Here's Jared. Good morning. And now everyone's there. Now we can see everybody. And so congratulations to you guys. I mean, we're getting down to the wire, aren't we? We're just less than a month, right?
That's right. Well, just a month as to tomorrow.
Yeah. And so it's got to be exciting after all the work and training that you guys have been putting into this, right?
It has. It's been a long build up, a lot of work, and so getting this close and getting to see the start line.
Literally, right?
Right. Well, and what do you guys do? And just to fill, we've had you guys on before, but to fill in maybe new listeners, what's going on?
Yeah, so Mark and I and Mike, who's not here, we are going to row the Atlantic Ocean here in about a month. Tomorrow's a month. And we're doing that to raise awareness and support for our local first responders and mental health and suicide prevention. So there's been a huge lead up for 4 years, whether that be, bringing trainings in for local agencies, fixing the boat, getting ourselves ready, equipment. There's just been a lot going on.
And when you say rowing the Atlantic Ocean, like it's no big deal.
We're going to
just going to go row the Atlantic Ocean.
Whatever.
What are you guys going to do next month?
Yeah, exactly.
This is a major event. It's got teams from all over the world, and including a team from San Juan County, the Guardian Initiative team, right?
That's right.
First team we know of from New Mexico.
How about that? And so
record.
Yeah.
We're already making records.
That's true. And so this is going to be, remind us again the length of the trip again, and when you're starting and where you're starting from.
Yeah, so we start in the Canary Islands, and the race starts December 12th. We'll take off there. We'll go west to Antigua. We anticipate it taking us about 45 days, but we'll see how that goes. Their weather plays into that. Our physical conditioning plays into that. The boat and equipment plays into that. So we're hoping for 45 days.
And that's 45 days of living on the boat, right? And just rowing in shifts and getting from point A to point B. Yeah.
We just switch on and off, back and forth every couple hours, and we just row. Just row, eat, sleep, repeat until we get there. Do
you have contact with people while you're on the boat for 45 days, or no?
We've got a couple satellite phones that we're having to take to check in with the race organizers every couple days, just to give them an update on us and how we're doing, how we're holding up. But we also have, I guess, what we would call just a hotspot Wi-Fi that we can connect to every so often to send videos and pictures and text messages. That'll be a little bit less frequent, but we do have contact with the outside world. And truthfully, we don't want a whole lot of contact anyways. We just want to be out there and just enjoy nature and the row.
Yeah,
wow.
The ocean. But the ocean can be a pretty unforgiving place, I would say. You guys are prepared for some of those things that you might run into out on the high seas, I guess?
We are. A lot of our decision in going with this particular race, Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge, is the the prep work and the pre-knowledge required to get in the race. Well, it's a race. We always say we're racing. We're entered to finish. Raise awareness for our cause. But a lot of the requirements, because of that unforgiving nature of the ocean, they're there to help us succeed and get through. So whether it's our training we've done on sea survival, navigation, our food, the emergency equipment we have on board in terms of food and water, life rafts. There's been a lot of preparation, a lot of training go into all that.
Right, and the route too, I guess, is a little bit by design. I mean, you're not in the North Atlantic necessarily, right? So
correct. Yes, we're in the southern part of the North Atlantic, if you will.
Yeah.
But being the southern part, closer to the equator, it is going to be warmer.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, miserably hot towards the end, from what we hear.
Okay. Even in December,
even
right?
in December,
Yep.
yes. And then the way the currents and the trade winds run, this is for being on a rowboat. Given two of us rowing can row 3 to 4 knots, so about 3 to 4 miles per hour. So anything more than that against us, we're going the opposite direction. So we kind of need the currents and the tides, but the currents going with us,
right,
and winds going with us, and it's more favorable in this area.
And that's, I guess, maybe also part of why you chose maybe this race to be a part of as well. I mean, they've done this before; they do it every year, and there's a lot of other competitive teams that are in this as well, and so you can learn from them, I suppose.
There are, yes, and again, for chances of success. When we first looked at doing this, like Jared mentioned, it was 4 years ago. We started planning this. We had to make a decision. We talked to some folks that were like, "You can row the ocean on your own, just completely unsupported, or you can go with an event like Talisker Whiskey." And again, not having ever done this before, there are people that do it completely unsupported. We are unsupported. We don't have support crews coming out to restock us or give us equipment. When we say unsupported, we mean they're not bound by any rules or anything.
Right.
But we, for success, that is a big reason we went with the Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge.
Gotcha. And so, take us through a little bit about. I know you said the boat has already been shipped out from San Juan County. People may have seen it around. You've had it on display at various locations. I think it was at the fair, and gosh, if you've just been anywhere in town, I think the last 4 years or 2 years at least, you've probably seen it, right? And so, it's got a new wrap. You're showing off your sponsors. We've got some pictures to share as well a little bit. But the boat is kind of a special design too, right?
Yeah. It's specifically made for this event. It's called an R45, made by Rannoch Adventures out of Britain. But this is the main boat that is used to cross, and so majority of the teams have this. But yeah, we got our new wrap on there that was put on by Ram Signs. We appreciate them, and just to be able to show off all the sponsors that support us and have supported us over the last multiple years. Right,
and so it's got some unique qualities, I guess, for a trip like this. We can see in some of the pictures the solar panels on kind of the upper part. There certainly looks like there's some maybe cabin space, little bit.
Yeah. On each side of the boat, each side of the boat there is a cabin. One of them is a bit larger than the other. One of them's got all our electronics in it, our GPS, our radio, things of that nature. But those are made for sleeping. Inside or in between those cabins is the row deck where we'll row. There's basically storage all over the boat, and it's also, we should point out that if we flip over in the boat, it's made to self-right. It'll come right back up, and so if we get a storm, that could happen, but we'll just keep rowing. We'll just get back on and keep rowing, really. So.
That's the idea, and that's what you said, right? The whole trip is kind of row, eat, sleep, repeat.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there's 3 of you, and so. Will 2 of you be rowing all the time? Is that kind of how it's planned out? While one sleeps, is that kind of the idea, or what have you got planned?
Yeah, the goal is to have 2 people on the oars as much as we possibly can. But of course, we're a trio, so that may not happen all the time. Yeah. But we'll work through schedules when we get out there. But yeah, the plan is just to have 2 people on there as much as we can, and just row.
Gotcha. Okay. Megan, what's coming into your mind? I know you have a lot of questions.
I do. Well, one of my questions is everybody in the race raising awareness for the same cause?
No. Everyone is, raising awareness for their own charity and their own cause. Ours is, first responder mental health. There's teams that'll do it to raise awareness for ALS, veteran PTSD, all the way to cleaner oceans. Everybody's got their own charity.
Nice.
Gotcha. Interesting. And so you mentioned that you've been kind of working on this for 4 years. In the last couple of years, I think you've been pretty serious about the training and things along that line. And so you've been out using Navajo Lake, I think, and that's kind of been your local training opportunity mostly?
It has. Of course, one of the huge challenges of training for an ocean row in New Mexico is to have somewhere to train.
Don't have an ocean.
It could have been worse. We could have been somewhere. We're lucky to have Navajo
right,
so close by. Of course, it doesn't replicate anything like we would experience on the ocean. And because of that, while we were able to do some of our training hours, and we did far more training hours on the lake than what we're allowed to claim, if you will. Race rules, we have to have so many hours on the boat. But the majority of those have to be open ocean, open water. So aside from training on Navajo Lake, we made multiple trips out to the coast in Florida. When we picked the boat up in Florida, we trained on it a little bit then. We were in England last spring, training on not our exact boat, but an exact, basically replica of our boat. So it's basically the same training, rowing out in the English Channel out there. And,
well, that can get pretty gnarly, can it, at times?
Yeah, we had some really calm times. We had some times we were really fighting currents and wind. And keep in mind, coastal rowing is, I don't know, I won't say more difficult, but it's different than offshore rowing. And so even what we were doing training, we were anywhere up to 15 miles offshore, whether we were training in Florida, Georgia area, or in England. But you still are fighting the tides, pushing you in and going in and out. We're constantly battling those. Well, in the middle of the ocean, you're not dealing with the tides as much as the currents, and the currents are supposedly going to help us.
Right.
Gotcha.
So lots of training on the boat, like I mentioned before, classroom training, so
yeah,
a lot of effort.
Interesting. Very
I
cool.
know. Well, I'm just sitting here amazed the whole time. So
Are you?
I'm a little dumbfounded over here.
Right.
So, trying to imagine what it'd be like.
Yeah.
Have you ever done crew, Scott?
Have I?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, that'd be a big no.
Yeah, it was pretty popular in the Northeast.
It was.
And so, tried my hand a couple of times, and oh my God, it's it's so hard. It's so hard. So I can't imagine being in an ocean trying to row like that, because these were placid bodies of water that I was on.
Right, and you had probably 5 other people.
Yeah, you have a whole,
rowing with
whole
you,
team
not,
rowing
not
with you.
one other person.
Yeah, exactly. So
right, exactly. And so, on that point, gentlemen, I mean, you've only got the 3 of you, right? So you're really interdependent, I guess, on each other. So you spend a lot of time together, obviously, working with the whole team and how that's going to go when you're just, I mean, it's not like somebody can walk into the other room for a while when you're on the ocean with just one boat to be on, right?
Yeah, team dynamics are a big thing. We have to all work together and understand our strengths and weaknesses. Mark's the skipper for the boat, so what he says goes. But understanding that there's going to be tough times out there, and it's how we deal with it. Our goal is to come back better friends, not enemies. So, and I think that'll work out well. We're all, I think, pretty much on the same par of personalities, and so I think it'll be all right. But
right.
it is a serious consideration. Yeah,
very good. Mark, as a skipper, anything that you are thinking about and want to kind of maintain when you're out there and with the other crew?
Like Jared just mentioned, team dynamics are huge, and so I think a lot of, for me, it'll be understanding we're going to have struggles at times. We're putting ourselves in an extreme environment. It's going to be stressful. We're going to be sleep deprived. We're going to be, at times probably not eating as good if we're, not feeling well, kind of seasick. So I think just trying to keep those team dynamics going. I'm not concerned about the physical part of it. We may run into aches and pains, and maybe somebody will have to take a day off. Hopefully not, but we've heard of that happening where somebody's got to, hey, I can't row today because of some injury or something. But really just trying to maintain those team dynamics and understanding that. But again, that's part of, I think, what'll help us be successful over some other teams we've heard of in the past that have gotten together very hastily. We spent a lot of time together. Of course, all of our training, all of our road trips, nonstop road trips back and forth to the East Coast for training and dropping the boat off, picking the boat up, working together, meetings, other trainings. We've done a lot together. So
That's got to help. Yeah,
I believe so.
I would think so too. Looking at the pictures of the boat, though, I mean, again, there's the 2 cabins that we talked about, but doesn't seem to be a lot of other protection from the elements, I would say, right? Or are there some other maybe canopies that can go up or things like that? Or are you guys just out there to be out there?
We're just out there. You've got the cabins to on your time off if you want to go in the cabins. Again,
sure.
A lot of what we hear is it's so hot you don't want to be in the cabins. You have to leave the cabin door closed. Because, like Jared mentioned, if the boat were to roll, that's the air in that is what makes it self-righting.
It's an airtight
It's correct.
compartment kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So race rules, you have to leave the cabin closed at all times, whether you're in there or not.
Gotcha.
So, but in bad storm, you go in there, you can close the cabin. Of course, the bow cabin's a little bit bigger. We've got right now 2 people plan to be in the bow cabin, 1 in the stern cabin because it is a lot tighter. But no sail or no coverings, nothing.
No canopy, no umbrella.
As a sail.
Yeah.
And because it's a race, they take it pretty serious.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
There's actually been disqualifications on people putting stuff up as a sail. And, of course, that's, outside of just having a canopy for sun cover.
Right.
Just protective clothing, as hot as it'll be, long pants, long sleeve shirts,
Sure.
Lots of sunscreen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, unsurprisingly, because I skipped breakfast this morning, but I'm interested in the food, because you got to fit that 45 days of food on this boat.
Yeah,
and
for
I'm
3
assuming
team
it's got to
members.
be dry food and stuff, like backpacking food or something. How does MREs? What is the food situation?
Yeah, we have to take. We're a 3-man team, so the race requires us to take 60 days worth of food. Each person, depending on their weight. Takes anywhere between 5,000 5,500 calories per day, and yeah, it's just freeze-dried mountain house backpacking type food, and we've got these big bags that are snack packs. So it's just junk food basically, just protein bars and goldfish crackers and things of that nature. But yeah, it's a ton of food. I mean, we were actually packing it, the boat before it left, and we couldn't even get it all in our little compartments where we actually store it. So we've got boxes of food where we're going to sleep. So I'll be sleeping with Pop-Tarts for probably the first 3 or 4 days.
Hey, that's not a bad thing.
So
I do that. I do that on land now, so I don't know. I don't have a problem with that.
On land,
right.
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and then you have trash to worry about. I mean, it's not a very big boat. So
No.
I'm losing my mind on the details here, but.
Yeah, even on the trash deal, of course we can't throw that in the ocean.
No.
Right.
And so they'll inspect our boat, inspect our trash upon arrival in Antigua, just to make sure that we have the correct ratio of trash to food and all that. So it's well organized. They've thought of everything, and it's been a learning process for us over the last 4 years.
I'm sure.
Very interesting. And with the food, I guess I wanted to ask too. Then it's all just kind of. You're not cooking anything on the boat, right? Except, do you have a toaster for your Pop-Tarts or no?
No toaster.
So it's going to be cold Pop-Tarts.
We'll put it up on the solar panel.
Maybe that would work. But
we just heat up. We have a jet boil. Just heat up water and just pour it into the bag.
Okay, you can do that.
Yeah, and it hydrates.
Gotcha.
But that's about it.
Right.
We'll have coffee and stuff. But
that's important.
It is.
That is very important. So
it is.
That was one of our first. We got our coffee sponsor lined up.
Okay, very important.
We have a coffee sponsor, Risen Warrior Coffee, and they made us our own blend, and then they made us actually daily coffee bags for out on the row.
Look at that.
Awesome.
See there?
I love that.
Of course.
Well, and we should probably talk about sponsors, right? Who is sponsoring you guys in the community?
There has been a ton of support.
There's a long list, right?
Yeah. Anywhere from Hillcorp to Basin Health. We've got the Farmers Insurance Manchester Agency, Chick-fil-A, Advantage Dodge, San Juan Regional, Horace Nissan, Mesa Concrete. I mean, I know I'm missing somebody.
We're seeing a bunch on the screen. There's a big Hillcorp logo there, so we could talk about them. Mm-hmm. And San Juan Regional, certainly. I saw Tommy Bolak, the B Square folks.
Zia Drones have been operations have been doing our kind of documenting this all for us.
That's right.
We're going to do a kind of a presentation at the end. We've got Academy Hour, some bigger sponsors. Academy Hour, which does mental wellness training for first responders. FHE Health.
And I think what's also important is, while these are some of the larger sponsors, there's a whole group of sponsors in the background that didn't quite make it on the boat, but have been just as instrumental in our success. So we've had a lot of ambassadors for us that have helped us getting in different places. And
right. And we should say, too, that you guys have a website, I know, that supports what you do and has a lot of other information about the trip, and your Facebook page is really active. You got a lot of cool videos on there about, I think there's one of just showing the food on the floor along the hallway, in a hallway somewhere.
This.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I think a lot of other sponsors are probably listed on your website, and places like that, if folks really want to see and give a shout out to those folks. So that's important as well. But that's great. And so between now and launch, and the race, what's happening? The boat's gone, so you can't really train on the boat anymore. Are you guys still doing? You got a exercise routine or something between now and then to stay on target?
We do. We're just working out. It's not Olympic rowing, so which is nice, but it's definitely long term. So we do have to keep our bodies in condition for that. So just maintaining that, each of us individually maintaining that. You're right, with the boat being gone, that did take a little bit of the work we were doing prior to the boat shipping. We were at the boat almost every day. So right now, also spending a lot of time with family. Knowing we're going to be gone for a while from family. We're still having team meetings, making sure we've got everything we need to. We've had to submit a lot of more documentation to the race. So there's still a lot of work going on the backside. But right now, just maintaining and trying not to eat too much ice cream. And
gotcha. Okay.
And spending time with family.
Struggle. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Very
and
good.
work. Also trying to get both of us.
You guys have jobs, right?
We do. Yes.
It's not rowing.
That's right. We both work for the sheriff's office, and we've got some great coworkers that'll be picking up our slack while we're gone and filling in for us. But in the meantime, trying to get everything caught up. I think we have 6 working days left before we leave.
But who's counting?
That's right.
I think you guys are counting. They're counting. Found a video. This is maybe kind of a training video. Looks like you guys are in the boat.
Yep.
And maybe take us through a little bit about this is what body of water are we on here?
This is the Atlantic Ocean. We're off the coast of Jacksonville. We went north and then turned around and came back south and went back to Jacksonville. So Mike's the closest to the camera. That's me behind him. We row backwards. So that's the bow cabin behind us.
Right.
So we're rowing backwards.
Okay.
You can see the tethers. We're tethered in to the boat. You can't really see our harnesses, but you see those yellow lines.
Yeah. Right.
We stay tethered into the boat at all times.
That's safety.
That's safety,
Sure.
correct.
Gotcha.
Those little, red round hatches, those are our food compartments. That's where Jared has mentioned we could not get all of our food in.
Okay.
And then just a lot of equipment. We have a lot of equipment on this boat, daily stuff. So you see lots of stuff in the background kind of hanging off the safety guards there. Everything from a bucket, which is our toilet, to throw a rope if we had to, emergencies.
But I'm noticing not a lot of room to walk around. It's pretty utilitarian. What's there is needed, and what's not there isn't on the boat.
Correct. And to walk from one end of the boat to the other, of course, now you've got to coordinate with the other guys to stop rowing. So you got to your safety, because you're always tethered in. If you're outside, you're always tethered in. So you're kind of moving your tether from one side to the other.
Exactly.
So it takes quite a bit.
Very, very interesting. Well, and that weather looked pretty good. That looked like pretty good weather. I mean, the wind you could hear the wind a little bit maybe, but the waves weren't too gigantic for ocean going, right?
Correct.
And things like that.
We had pretty good weather on that. We actually caught the tail of a tropical storm that had just gone through, which didn't affect us too much because we just modified our plan. We were going to row to Charleston. We ended up getting about halfway and having to turn around because the winds were just too strong coming out of the north. We couldn't row into that. So,
gotcha.
But we still got our time and our training in that we needed.
Okay. And you've talked about kind of the currents, and that's another reason why this route is where it is, right? Because the currents are favorable as to the direction that you're trying to go to, right?
Correct. The North Atlantic currents are kind of in a clockwise direction, and so if you're on the southern end there, it's going to be moving from east to west.
Very good. I want to show the food. I know Megan is enthralled with the food video.
Got to see the food.
There it is. That is probably all of the food, right? That you're getting ready to take.
That's all our dry food, and there's some wet food mix in there. That's not including our snack pack. So each of us will have 60 additional bags that has all our snacks in it. Those are just our freeze-dried foods. So.
60 plus what we're seeing on the screen right now.
Yeah, 60 plus per person. So
each person is a different color. So you saw there was blue tape, yellow tape, and kind of just that regular masking tape color.
Right.
They each have a different, color coordinated it there.
I got it.
And then I think you mentioned the snack bag. There's an additional snack bag, which is like a gallon size Ziploc. Maybe you just said that. I'm sorry. For every day, for each of us.
And that all fits in those little red caps that we saw under I guess under the deck, right?
Yeah.
So you've got storage underneath, which is what you're talking about. Yeah. So that's how you can
supposed
store
to
all
fit.
that.
We're not quite sure. We got done with this, and we're like, how does a 4-person? Because this boat can handle a 4-person or 5-person team.
How does that work?
They just have to stack food in their cabins. I don't know how else.
Right. Interesting. And you can't really have anything dragging behind you right in the water because that's going to put drag on the boat, right? And things on that line. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Now that I've said it out loud, makes no sense whatsoever.
No, nice cooler behind us.
Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
A cooler.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Right. Very good. And so, how can folks support you? It's not too late, I don't think, to show support for the trip that you're going to be taking and the awareness you're going to be raising for mental health for our dispatchers and emergency responders and things like that. What's the best way for folks to help?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is row3000.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We've got donate links and stuff. Following us across the ocean, it will mean a lot to us, knowing that everyone's watching and really kind of pushes across. So, just follow along, and it should be a good time, right?
Right.
That's what you tell us, though. We hope so.
Okay.
And I hope we can maybe check in a few times. I know you'll be probably posting maybe some social media stuff from the trip and things like that as you're going, and we can again track your progress. Right? I'm sure the race folks are tracking you too.
Yeah, we'll have a gal here that's going to post all our stuff for us when we're gone.
Nice.
There's also an app called YB Races, and we'll put this out on our social media. But you can actually download this app, input our race year, and you can actually track boats across the ocean. You can see where we're at in the middle of the ocean.
A little GPS, so we can just watch
you
you
can see what place we're in if we were caring about that.
Okay.
How many miles are left until we get there, and weather and all that stuff. So it's a really cool app, and we'll put that out.
Okay. Very good. We'll be watching and following. It's very exciting. And in 45 days.
40, hopefully.
Right?
I
Hopefully,
know.
yes.
It's like I just keep thinking about Castaway in my head.
Yeah. Right.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
I don't. Megan, could you do this for 45 days? Just being
No,
on the air with me for
being
45
with
days,
you?
right?
No.
Wouldn't that drive you crazy?
If we were on a boat together for 45
well,
days.
that would be
That would just be
no.
Well, we would
maybe
never,
a cruise
we
ship.
would never make it. So.
Maybe a cruise ship, and we could go to different decks. But yeah,
exactly.
But not a small boat like what we're talking about. But that's why you guys are the professionals, and you've been training. We haven't, so that's the difference, I think, right?
One of the differences.
I wouldn't say professional. I would say
I don't know.
very much amateurs, right?
Yes. Blinded.
I don't know, you guys. I don't know, but I know we've been talking about this with you for a long time, and it's exciting to see it finally kind of close, right? We're close, and it's gonna happen, and that's got to make you really excited, and certainly making all the training and all the exercise worthwhile to get to this point, and the support of the community and all of your sponsors and your families too. I think that are part of this as well, that are going to set you off for more than a month.
Very much, very much. And one thing I was mentioning at a meeting at work the other day to a group of folks, the row has always been our awareness campaign. And to not forget why we're doing the row.
That's right.
Not just to be cool or participate in extreme sport, but for the first responder mental wellness and suicide prevention. Because as you mentioned early on, it's a problem. The wellness side is a problem. It affects when we realize it affects far more than first responders, but being first responders ourselves and focusing in on that, and so it reaches far and wide within the profession, and we really want to make an impact on that.
Right. Well, very true. And I don't think we think about that when we're calling for help, right? And and these dispatchers and the responders are dealing with these people probably about some of the worst points in their lives, right? Either that somebody have lost someone, or just tragedy, or an emergency, or something's happening, and the dispatchers who are that link just through the phone to get help to the person who needs help and things along that line, and they take call after call after call. the emergency responders go on call after call after call, and they don't get to take a break necessarily if they're in the middle of a shift. And this is kind of the type of work that we're talking about, right?
Correct. And to be honest, the first responders don't blink an eye when
they
going to those and handling them. And
that's their job.
They put their correct, and they make that sacrifice and put it aside. But truly, oftentimes on the backside, you're getting that build up on the backside. That trauma's being built up, and if it's not, if we don't give the resources and the tools to know how to deal with that and how to help that, then or understand that it is a problem, then that's when we see problems down the road.
Yeah. So thank you for elevating that message.
Thank you.
I think it's really worth it. So, and good luck on the row. We're excited for you, and can't wait to see the progress and see how you guys do with this, and then get ready for the next one. Yes. I guess would be the next thing, right?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Thanks, Scott, for bringing that up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's get through the first race first.
Right.
How's that?
That's right.
All right. Excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming in this morning. Megan, any final thoughts that are burning in your head this morning?
Any final thoughts?
Besides the food?
No, I'm just rooting for you guys. That's my final thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there you go. But thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. Again, good luck. Be safe. And we'll try to check in as much as we can. But we'll be watching and wishing you well from the safety of our little warm studio here. So good luck to you guys.
Exactly. Exactly.
There you go.
Well, thank you both.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Our guest this morning from the Guardian Initiatives with us here on our Solutions from the Street program on KSJE. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right. Have a good week, everyone.